www.shootout.co.uk.
Welcome back. The Champions League pool is heating up here on match night number 3, and we have only got 2 matches left to decide who will be our third quarter finalists. This is how the table looks right about now. It is still all to play for 2 of our players. For 2 of them, though, it is all over with our last result there. That win for Phil Harrison, 4-1 over Sam Bircher, does mean that it does eliminate effectively Sam and Zach. Essentially, we've got a final, Simon, in a match's time. Phil versus Rob, all to play for.
Yeah, definitely not the result that Sam or Zach wanted in that last match, but it does mean we've got a final potentially. Well, we have got a final coming up. The winner of the last match of the night will go through, but of course, also still potentially a 6-red shootout if it's a drawn match.
So this essentially does become a rubber game between Shepard and Burcher. And I think both players will be a little bit. It's a tough one to grade for them because they've both shown really good glimpses and yet have reached their third match and they have nothing to play for, but it could have been so very different in different ways.
Yes, it could, and I think both players still need to really put it in this match, because
red ball's in play.
Every time you can, this is such a tough format to play in with 20 seconds a shot. Every time you can play a match on the TV under this sort of pressure, it's valuable experience, and I think short matches and short races are here to stay in the pool world, and with Sam being 24 and I think Zach's 27, they're still very young, and they're going to have plenty more experiences out there playing, so if whatever they can find from this match will really hold them in good stead as they go forward in their careers.
Nothing for Zach to play out there, so he went safe, and Sam trying to be the aggressor. Must be a good shot if he makes it. Oh, how about that for queuing? Made that look remarkably easy.
Yeah, very casual, wasn't it?
I suppose we might see a little bit of that now the pressure is off in a sense in this game. But I think both players have done themselves pretty proud tonight with how they've actually put it in. I know in particular Zach was disappointed when we spoke to him, but done himself, like, got nothing to be ashamed about, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Is he's put in a decent performance tonight. Could so very nearly have been different.
I think the lines are so fine in pool, especially in this format. Difference between still being in it tonight and not is probably from Zach Shepard's side of the table, comes down to possibly a shot, maybe even a shot or two. If he gets the win that you feel like he should have got against Phil, then he's still very much in it.
So Phil Harrison will be joining us in the frame interval between 1 and 2. Get his thoughts.
He'll be pleased, won't he? The fact that he looked more settled. He looked to deal with the shot clock better in that last match. A couple of really good finishes from the break. Fascinating to see how he plays in the final match of the night.
Yeah, it's the match which I think if you looked at it from the outset, you thought could be the final, as it were. 2 strongest players on paper for sure. But I think the first 2 matches tonight where they both didn't play against each other and they played the rest of the field showed that how close this group was. I think Rob had to put in a great performance against Sam, and Phil's had to do exactly the same in the end.
always looked a tight group, but then the bookies did have Phil and Rob as the first and second favourites, and they're going to play off for a spot in the next round. So it was tight, but I guess we're going with the form.
What a lovely shot.
Didn't know if it was ever going to reach, but really well played. Not just the pot, but look at the control of this cue ball as well. Really nicely done.
I'm not sure this black passes the yellow, but we're about to find out what exact Shepard's got in mind.
Ooh, feathers the yellow on the way through, but he does make the 8 ball and get that first frame on the board. Sam Burcher had the best of the first opportunities, but wasn't able to do so, but Zach Shepard does get his opportunity and wins that frame. Well, Zach will be happy to get the frame on the board, but won't be happy that this is a rubber match and he can't go through tonight. And as Stephen Jameson said a few minutes ago, we are going to get a few words with Phil Harrison.
Yeah, we certainly are. Phil, lovely to speak to you. How are you feeling after 2 matches tonight? One very different than the other, I feel.
Yeah. I think we were all sort of learning the table on that first match, but you know, I probably should have won the match, but he probably should have won the match as well. But yeah, it's nice to play a little better in the second match. But yeah.
It seemed to be that you never, in that first match, you never seemed to get settled. Was it the table or was it the time that you struggled with, or both?
I think I was just very cold. It's really cold in there. No, we need to settle, and the table's very responsive, and it doesn't do quite how we do it. And obviously, with the 20-second shot clock, we can't play the game the way we normally play it, but it's fun, and it's different.
Hey, all part of the challenge. Hey,
a
great recovery in that second match, of course. You seem to play much more like the Phil Harrison that we know. You looked a lot more comfortable.
I was just, I think. We just have to see it a little better, and it's only first to 4, and whenever we go to tournaments and stuff, sometimes it can take a couple of 3 rounds before you start to settle in. But here you don't have time, and you're under pressure. We don't play on TV every day, and it's nice to get out there and play under pressure straight away, really.
A great final match coming up against Rob Chilton as well. It now becomes a de facto final. What are your thoughts on your opponent, first of all?
Rob, I mean, he's a great player. I've known Rob 30 years. We've been playing each other for 30 years. So we both know what we do. And
who's got the overall winning record at this point, do you reckon?
Sorry?
Who's got the overall winning record, do you reckon, at this point?
I can't tell you that bit, but but I'm not really sure, really. But he's beaten me plenty of times. I've beaten him plenty of times. But yeah, it's good. Looking forward to it.
Well, I wish you all the very best luck.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Great to hear from Phil ahead of his final match of the night, the match that will decide who goes through from Group 3. It will be Phil Harrison or Rob Chilton. And Stephen Jameson joins me in the commentary box once again.
What a nice man.
Yeah, lovely man. I'll tell you the one thing that struck me from that interview is this, he said that it can take him 3 rounds to sort of get going in a tournament. I'd be happy to be in a tournament for 3 rounds.
Well, as the phrase goes, there's levels to the game, isn't there?
Absolutely.
It's interesting to hear. It's from what you can sort of read between the lines with what Phil's saying. He loves stuff like this, but he's so not used to it. It takes him totally out of his comfort zone, where he's had all this success in different forms of the game, in different tournaments, and it's very, very different. I think from the sounds of it, he himself feels like he's not where he would want to be in terms of, he's been a world champion, he's regarded as one of the best in the world. He almost seems to feel like he's not that in this format of the game, because it's so open to so many different things, and it seems like a test, but the most important thing is he seems to really enjoy that.
Yeah, I think when you've been around the game as long as Phil has, I think it must be really nice. Oh, great effort here. Brilliant shot from Zach Shepard. But yeah, it must be really nice for Phil to have something new like this. The shootout's been around for, what, 18 months or so now. So to have this, you know, this format of the game to really come along and change things up and take him out of his comfort zone must be a real big thrill for him. And oh, what a shot.
Oh, he deserved it. That would have been two absolutely magic shots from Zach Shepard. Have another watch of this. He so nearly judged that to perfection. That's unlucky.
And just going back to Phil, you know, he comes in tonight as one of the best players in the world, but probably wouldn't start the overall tournament as one of he was favourite for this group, but he wouldn't be favourite for the tournament. He'd be up there, but because he's not used to yet this format and this speed of play. But I think the more he plays in it, the more dangerous he's going to get, and it certainly wouldn't surprise me at all to see him go through tonight and see him go on and win the tournament, because he is a winner.
It does set up that mouth-watering final though, doesn't it, between himself and Rob?
It does, and it's difficult to try and give one of them an edge, actually, the way it's gone so far tonight.
They're both almost, I was just about to say actually, they've both had almost identical nights in a way. They both struggled in their opening game, got a point, and then in the next game they turned it on and they showed us what they're a lot more capable of. And I mean, it's lovely to hear there as Sam takes the frame to tie things up. It's lovely to hear that there's that real great respect between two great players who've been doing it a little while between them. 30 years according to Phil, which is some record. But it is nice that they are two top players who know each other well, and they are going to give it some proper going in this final 20-minute match that we've got coming up after this one.
Yeah, and I love that you asked what you think the overall record is, and I'd be willing to bet that neither Phil nor Rob have a clue what the record is against each other. They will have played each other so many times over the years. I say 30 years of playing each other.
Third frame.
They'd have beaten each other plenty of times each.
One frame all. Time running.
That's a massive break from Sam. He suffered with this a little bit in the last match that he had, did Sam, against Phil, that he was breaking so well. And I mean, this is tough to see with a spread like that. Not a single ball down.
Yeah, 3 breaks in his match against
Yellow balls
Phil Harrison, 2 times dry, and both times he was dry, Phil cleared them up for a reverse dish. He is breaking very nicely. You can see there the quality of the contact was excellent, the quality of the power through the pack excellent, the split was brilliant. The only thing that wasn't brilliant, it was dry, and it gives the opportunity to Zach Shepard rather than to himself. No real problems here for Zach as well. Every ball's got a pocket. That one's a little bit loose. If he's straighter on this yellow, it's really, really simple. Now he needs to just avoid the red. Oh, he's done that well. Looks like another reverse dish coming.
Might see a bit of this in this match. I thought it could go one of 2 ways. You might see a bit of a scrappy one, or we might just see both players really just fly at it and show us what they're capable of. Zach certainly seems to have taken the stabilisers off in that sense. He's played a couple of great exhibition shots, and that's as, you know,
Fine.
solid a dish as you're ever likely to see. Bulletproof from Zach Shepard. He goes 2-1 up.
We just mentioned the reverse dish. There it is on the stats graphic, and yeah, a couple of missed pots for Zach, but he does find himself in front. Sam will be annoyed that he didn't win that opening frame, but nothing he could do about that last one. All you can do when you break is hit them as well as you can and get a good split. Hope you make a ball, and when you come up dry, it can be a painful game at times.
Zach Shepard to break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Well, Zach didn't catch this break that well. Nowhere near as big a split. Does get the 4-point rule, but only just. 4 balls into top half the table, one of them come back down, but whilst they haven't opened up that well, it's still a really good chance for Sam to return the favour. Has to make a decision when to go up for the yellow at the top of the table. 3 at the bottom of the table, fairly comfortable. May choose to leave the yellow at the top as his last ball, with the black being probably the easiest ball at the bottom of the table to play on when you go up the table. So often talk about wanting to get your hardest ball out of the way first. Sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes it's easier to leave it.
He's made short work of the rest in the meantime. Needs a bit of an angle. Doesn't want to be straight. I think that look on his face just tells you he may well be.
Certainly straighter than he wanted to be. I think all you can do is just drop this in and leave a really horrible black to the bottom right corner.
Yep, there it is. Well, in this first match of the night against Rob Chilton, he potted a couple of really, really difficult 8 balls to secure himself a draw. He's got to do the same here. He should also make it 2-2, but with 6.5 minutes to play. Oh, what a shot! He's got a bit of a knack for doing that, as Sam Bircher. That's terrific once again. Obviously, the stakes less higher than they were in the first match of the night, but that's as good an 8-ball shot as you're ever going to see, really.
Yeah, no, for me, it's especially coming off the fact that you'll be so frustrated to leave that straight angle. You're trying to leave plenty of angle on the last ball to be able to just drift down and have a simple black. You have to deal with that frustration and that annoyance, and then, well, 15, 20 seconds, recover and just knock it in.
Some shot that. So Shepard has time to respond. It's been the fastest game of the night so far. 4 frames over and done with, still with
Frame
6
5
minutes and change remaining.
to break. 2
These two not
frames
messing
all.
about, giving us
Time
a
running.
really good match here, actually. Been great entertainment. Nothing on the line, of course, but they've fulfilled their entertainment part of the bill, that's for sure. And Sam, once again, just left to rue a break.
He's a little bit fortunate this time. Okay, it's dry. It's another massive break, but the cue ball was tracking towards that top right-hand corner, and one of the object balls stopped it going in, so it could have been a little bit worse.
Red balls in play.
Couldn't tell you he's not made a ball, though.
No, it's still it's a head scratcher. He's hit 3 great breaks in this match so far and yet to make a ball. So we've got Zach Shepard looking to make the 3rd reverse dish on the trot. Not sure he was looking to cannon that ball. I think he was possibly looking to avoid it. Difficult to tell. I think he can get to the bottom of the 2 reds and come across the table and disturb the red by the yellow. Nicely done. But can you get to the last red?
Yeah, that's what I'm just wondering. It's a lovely shot for that. If that was to be his last red, perfect. Still got one more, and I think he's just Trying to figure that bit out. Not got a lot of room to play with the cue ball so close to the cushion. Oh, he's unlucky. Wry smile from Zach Shepard. Jammed the red into the jaws. Would have possibly had a chance at a treble, I think, on that final red. Maybe a back double. But either way, not to be. I think Sam's run a bit of ground here, unless he can sneak through to that yellow. He can.
Yeah, slight swerve, but no real problems. Similar to the last finish he took out. When does he go down for the ball on the bottom cushion? Could well leave it for his last ball again. Would be less of a problem if he landed straight though, with the black being in the same half of the table.
Been generally pretty impressed with all the players tonight in different ways, but I think Sam's caught the eye. I think with a little bit of luck in certain elements of the night, it could have been quite a different night for him.
Yeah, 2-0 down in his first match against Rob Chilton. It didn't get off to the greatest start, but a couple of 8 balls he made to get back into that match were very impressive.
4-1 was a tough one to take against Phil because he didn't really do an awful lot wrong in that match. But there's plenty of players who can say that about being beaten by Phil Harrison. That's probably 6 inches short of being an absolute dream shot as well.
Yeah, the problem though for Sam wasn't that shot, it was the shot before where he had complete control of where he put the cue ball and he left himself a horrible angle on his ball down the cushion.
So Zach then with a chance to clear up. This will take him 3-2 in front.
I think he can clip this in and come back across the table and land on the last ball. Oh, he hasn't hit it. He knew straight away. See his grimace on his face. Not sure the double's on. The cut's very thin. Is it going to be a safety? It was an attempted safety. Trying to use the black as a blocker. It hasn't worked. And Sam gets himself in front, 3 frames to 2. 1 frame away from getting a first victory tonight.
Yeah, nearly there. Yeah, wry smile from Sam Bircher there. It's not quite been his night. Let's see here. This is how it's unfolded. Not quite in chronological order, the matches there below. We started with Rob versus Sam. That first match there is right, 2-2. That one finished, and then it was the Phil Harrison and Zach Shepard draw, which gave us a really open start to the night. Then it was over to Rob Chilton, who got a 4-1 win over Zach. Phil Harrison then repeated that trick against Sam, and here we are. And Zach does make a ball. He's got a chance to tie it up with 90 seconds remaining.
Yellow balls in play.
Couldn't ask for much better split. Just has to be careful when he transitions from the bottom of the table to the top of the table. He may have to do it here. I think he wanted to clear the yellow by the black before he went up the table, which is why he played the shot the way he did and has landed really awkwardly. And just a safety shot. And with 45 seconds left, that may be his work done for the night.
Oh, well, not quite. Sam Bircher's Mr. Dolly. 30 seconds then, Zach. What can you give us? Might just run out of time here, Zach. Let's just have a little look at the match clock. And he will indeed run out of time. It will be Sam Burcher who takes the win. Good performance from Sam. It was a good final match that between those two players. They both show flashes of just what they can do. Really entertaining match. A couple of lovely exhibition shots as well. It's all set up then for our grand finale this evening. Rob Chilton against Phil Harrison will be the one that decides it all. One of those two will head to the quarterfinals. We will find out who when we come back.
This programme is brought to you by vinny.co.uk.